Hi, welcome everyone to the third lecture of the subject control system. In this lecture, I am going to discuss, till the previous lecture, I discussed about transfer function, the very basic idea of transfer function, how we can derive transfer function from differential equation. Then we consider an example of an series RLC circuit, okay, of a series RLC circuit. Then from that series RLC circuit, using KCL and KVL, we derive the differential equation, and from the differential equation we arrive to the transfer function. In this lecture I will mainly discuss, there is another method of electrical circuit to obtain the transfer function, is the concept of impedance. I hope that you have very basic idea of network theory. From network theory, there is a concept of impedance, where the individual voltage current relationship of inductor, capacitor and resistor is used in order to get the transfer function. In this method, we don't need to derive the differential equation in order to get the transfer function, and it will be a lot more easier to obtain the transfer function. Then we will go for, there are different kind of representation of transfer functions. One is simple polynomial representation, another one is pole zero representation, and another one is time constant representation. And I will give you a very basic idea of what is time constant, but the time constant will be mainly discussed in the chapter time domain analysis. But in this lecture I will give you a very brief idea of time constant, and then we will see pole zero map of transfer function. What is pole zero map, what is the significance of poles, and what is the significance of zeros will be discussed later in this lecture series. But I will give the idea of pole zero diagram, and if time permits, then we will see some example circuits, some very basic level example circuits, and then we will obtain differential equation from that circuits. We will obtain transfer function of that circuits, and then we will obtain the pole zero diagram of that circuit as well. So let's start. So before starting, I want to confess one thing, that I have done a mistake in the previous video. The mistake was that the formula of the Laplace transform of the nth derivative of function ft, I have written this wrongly, and then you might have seen in the video that there was an image appearing on the screen when I was doing the mistake. So the image consists the correct formula, please note it, and here for the clarification I am going to write down the correct form of formula again. Okay, so it is s to the power n f of s, where fs, as you know, is the Laplace transform of the function ft, the individual function ft. Then subtracted s to the power n minus 1 f of 0. This f is from time domain, that means the value of the function at time t equals to 0. Okay, here notice one thing. In earlier I have written it as s to the power n f of 0, but the correct form is s to the power n minus 1 f of 0. Okay, the power of s will be reduced from left to right. Okay, it is n here, it is n minus 1 here, then it will be s of n minus 2, and so on, f dash 0, and so on up to s to the power 0, f of n minus 1 0. F of n minus 1 means n minus 1th derivative of f, and at time t equals to 0 is the f of n minus 1 0. So this is the correct form of the formula, please write it down in your copy. Now I am heading to the main topics that will be covered in this chapter. Okay, as you can remember, I have taken this circuit as an example of simple RLC circuit, and the voltage across these terminals were VIT, and voltage across the capacitor was V naught T, and V naught T means the output voltage and VIT means the input voltage. So the transfer function was V naught S by Vi of S equals to 1 by LCS square plus RCS plus 1. The transfer function was like this. Okay. Now, how we obtained this transfer function? How did we obtain this transfer function? We actually first, using KVL and KCL, we had written the differential equation of this system, and then from the differential equation we converted the differential equation into Laplace domain, assuming the initial conditions are 0, and we obtained the transfer function. But I am saying that there is individual voltage current relationship of these elements, these individual elements. For resistive element we have some voltage current relationship, for capacitive element we have some voltage current relationship, for inductive element we have some voltage current relationship. From that individual voltage current relationship, the circuit can be a simple, the circuit can be represented by some interconnection of some impedances. And then for this circuit, by using voltage division rule, we can easily get the transfer function. It will be impedance of resistance, it will be impedance of inductance, it will be impedance of the capacitors. So V naught S by VIS will be ZC by ZR plus ZL plus ZC. To obtain the transfer function, it will be lot more easier than this one. This will be the expression. Than the previous method. This will be much more easier. For that, we need to understand how we can convert this R to ZR, how we can convert this L to ZL, how we can convert this C to ZC. Okay. So we will convert this using some voltage current relationship of the individual element. So let us see what are the different voltage current relationships of different elements. Let us first discuss the resistive element. Okay, for R. For resistive element, the voltage current relationship, as we know, everyone know from 8th standard, it is V equals to IR by Ohm's law. So when voltage is a dependent variable of time and current is a dependent variable of time, we usually write it like this: Vt equals to It into R. Then if we transform this into Laplace domain, the equivalent expression will be V of S equals to I of S into R. Look here, R will not be considered as R of S because R is not a time function here, time dependent function. It is not a time dependent function here. It is a constant value. So the constant value will be the same. Next, I will go for inductive element. For inductive element, we know V of t equals to L into dit dt. So from this, if we convert this into Laplace domain, it will come as Vs equals to L SIS, and again there will be some L I of 0, but this is actually from transient concept of network, but we will not go for the transient concept of network. In control system, we mainly deal with deal with transient response because there are some design specifications we need to achieve in order to get some desired response, and the transient response plays an important role. But in this portion, we are going to obtain the transfer function. Our main objective is to obtain the transfer function. So we don't need this initial condition. We will consider this as 0. So the expression will be V of S equals to Ls I of S. Okay. Again for capacitor it will be it equals to C dVt dt, which will be converted into Laplace domain giving us I of s equals to C s V of s. Again there will be another term C V naught 0, C V 0, and that will be the initial condition, which will be 0, and we do not need to consider that one. So now what will be the impedance? Impedance is the voltage current, the ratio between voltage and current. So Vs and Is is Zr is equals to, as you can see, is equals to R itself. So for a resistive element, the value R is itself the impedance of that element. Okay. Now for inductive element, Vs by Is is equals to Vs by Is equals to Ls. So Ls is the impedance of inductor, and it is called inductive reactance. The impedance of resistive element is called resistance, and impedance of inductive element and capacitive element is called reactance. For inductor it is called inductive reactance XL, and for capacitor it is called capacitive reactance XC, and the value of XC, as we can see, Vs by Is equals to 1 by Cs. So it is 1 by Cs. And impedance is a general term. Impedance means we can indicate any combination of these or any individual element, okay, by impedance. So let us now obtain the transfer function of that circuit, which I was earlier obtained by differential equation. The circuit was like this: R, L and C. VIT, or in Laplace domain you can call it, okay, it is time domain representation because there is R, L and C, and it is V naught T. Now we will convert this into Laplace domain. By Laplace domain, let me write down here: Zr equals to R itself, Zl equals to XL equals to SL, and Zc equals to Xc equals to 1 by Sc. The voltage current relationship is like this. So let me convert this into impedance, that means in Laplace domain. So what will be the equivalent circuit? There will be Zr, that means R, Zr means R. There will be Zl for the inductor, and Zl means it is SL, and there will be Zc, and Zc means Xc means 1 by Sc. Vi of s, the output will be V naught of s. So by using now voltage division principle, we can obtain the transfer function here. So let me erase this portion because we don't need this one more. Sorry. So what is the expression? V naught of s by Vi of s equals to Xc by R plus XL plus Xc. Let me put the value here. R plus XC means, XL means it is SL, Xc means it is 1 by Sc, and the numerator it is Xc, that means 1 by Sc. So let me erase this one as well, and then look at the expression. 1 by SC, taking SC as LCM, RCS plus S square LC plus 1. SC will get cancelled and it will be 1 by S square LC plus S RC plus 1. This was the transfer function I obtained previously. So, by using individual voltage current relationship, the concept of impedance, we can obtain the transfer function very easily. Now, I will discuss what is different kind of representation that is involved in transfer function. So, what is transfer function? Transfer function is Ys by Xs. Transfer function equals to Ys by Xs, that is equals to when all initial conditions are 0, I mean initially relaxed. So, obviously the output expression will have some polynomial when it is converted into Laplace domain. So, it is called as numerator polynomial. From now on, I will for numerator I will denote it as n of s, numerator polynomial of some function s, and the denominator will be denoted by d of s. Okay. So, first we will go for polynomial representation. What is polynomial representation? Polynomial representation is ns will be mth order polynomial in general, and ds will be nth order polynomial. How we arrived to this situation? Let me discuss one thing. Earlier I said while discussing the differential equation form, the general differential equation form was like this: an d n y t dtn plus a n minus 1 d n minus 1 y t dt n minus 1 plus up to a1 dyt dt and a naught yt. It was equals to bm dm xt dt m bm minus 1 d m minus 1 xt dt m minus 1 plus up to b1 dxt dt plus b naught xt. This was the general differential equation. Now, if I convert this into Laplace domain, what will I get is a of n s to the power n. Then there will be lot of different initial conditions, those will be considering as 0, and then a n minus 1 s to the power n minus 1 plus up to a1 s and a naught whole multiplied by y of s equals to bm s to the power m bm minus 1 s to the power m minus 1 plus up to b1 s plus b naught whole multiplied with xs. Hope it is clear. Then what will be the transfer function? The transfer function will look like this. Ys by xs, that is equals to transfer function, that is equals to Ys by xs equals to bm s to the power m b m minus 1 s to the power m minus 1 plus up to b1 s plus b naught by a n s to the power n plus a n minus 1 s to the power n minus 1 plus up to a1 s plus a naught. So this is the transfer function. So what is numerator polynomial? Numerator polynomial is an mth order polynomial. It is an mth order polynomial of the function of the variable s. Denominator ds is another nth order polynomial of the function s. So what is ns? Ns is mth order polynomial. ds is nth order polynomial of s. This is a complex variable s. So this is one kind of representation of transfer function by using some polynomial. Numerator polynomial by denominator polynomial. Now there is another kind of representation. For that we need to understand what is zeros and poles. So the time axis is represented by some complex plane, that is sigma j omega, that means s plane, by use of Laplace transform. Okay. So there, when you are converting this Laplace transform into converting this time domain into this Laplace domain, that is s domain, there will be the value of function at each complex point. It may be complex, it may be real, it may be purely imaginary. That means you have some complex plane sigma j omega. There is some function, okay, this is not the function. I mean to say that this is the region, we can denote a function. It can be a three-dimensional one. Okay, this is sigma, this is j omega. Let me call it j omega sigma, and this is, let's say, magnitude. So at each point there must be some magnitude. That function is the transfer function. This is the representation of why we, when we plot pole zero diagram, we plot only in 2D. That means sigma, this is sigma, not s, will be in this side. Okay, when we plot this in s, we only concentrate on the sigma and j omega plane. We don't consider the magnitude because we don't need the information of magnitude, because this value of magnitude doesn't affect the nature, the response of any system. What affects the response is where the function is defined, whether it is this point or it is this point or it is this point or it is this point. Where the function is, the magnitude actually is useful. Like, let's say at this point, let's say this is some point, in this point the magnitude of the transfer function is 0. That is important for us, where it is 0. At some point, this point, the magnitude of the function is infinity. That is important for us. So it will be like that. The function can be drawn like this. Let's say here is a pole, Okay, function can be like this. Consider it as 3D. Okay, so this is like this. This is the plane, and the function is lying on the plane. Somewhere it is, at some point it is at this value, at some point it is at this value. Let's say this value, this plane is at 0 plane. So the function can look like this. It will be some plane of this. So at this point the value is 0. That means the value of sigma and 0, this point is useful for us. Let's say at this point the value of the function is infinity. So when it will come here, it will look like this. At this point it is infinity. Look, if you see this, let me give you an intuitive idea. Let's say this is sigma and j omega plane. This is sigma and this is j omega. Okay, or this is sigma, this is j omega, whatever, that is not important. And let me take this duster. This duster is defining the function. Let's say the duster is like this. Okay, so this value, the projection of this value on sigma and j omega plane is a point. The value of the function at that point is this value, which will be denoted by another axis, and the distance from the plane will be the magnitude of that of the function at that point. Okay, so the function can be like this. Somewhere it is touching the 0 plane. That means the magnitude equals to 0 plane, it is touching. That point is called the 0 of the transfer function, where the value of the function is 0. This will give the different value of s. So the point at the value of s at which the function is 0 is called 0 of the function, and there can be some value where the function is like this, and it is not ended here, it is towards infinity. Okay, along this axis it is towards infinity. So that point will look like one pole there. There is an infinitely long pole on that point. So that point on the sigma and j omega plane will be called as pole. This will be like that. This will be like that. Along this axis it is towards infinity. So this is kind of a pole. So what is pole and what is 0? 0 is the value of the 0 is the value of s at which the value of the function is 0. Pole is the value of s at which the value of the function is infinity. So what is pole? Okay, let me discuss what is 0. Value of s at which value of transfer function, that means magnitude of Ts is equals to 0. The value of the transfer function is 0. There must be some point s where the value is 0. That point is called a 0 of the transfer function. What is a pole? Value of s at which the magnitude of the transfer function is equals to infinity. There is some point on the sigma and j omega plane where the value of the transfer function is infinity. That point, that s, is called the pole of the transfer function. So how we can mathematically, this is the graphical and intuitive idea of pole and 0. How we can denote which is pole, which is 0. Obviously transfer function Ts equals to ns by ds. So whenever ns equals to 0, transfer function Ts will be equals to 0. Whenever ds equals to 0, transfer function Ts will tends to infinity. Whenever ns equals to 0, transfer function will be equals to 0. Whenever ds equals to 0, transfer function will be equals to infinity. So ns equals to 0, as ns is a polynomial, so ns equals to 0 is an equation of, and we know the order of n is, order of ns is m, and order of ds is n. So there will be m such points where the value of the transfer function will be 0, and the value ds equals to 0, the equation ds equals to 0 have some n roots. That means there is n number of points where the value of the transfer function will be infinity. These m number of points will be called as zeros of the transfer function. This n number of points will be called as poles of the transfer function. So how we can denote which is zeros and which is poles? The root of the differential root of the numerator polynomial will be called as zeros. The roots of the denominator polynomial will be called as poles. So for this kind of system, there will be m number of poles, m number of zeros and n number of poles. Now any polynomial can be written in this form. Let's say the polynomial is, we know the polynomial is this, an is an, I guess. This is not necessarily the same. I am considering an arbitrary polynomial. Let's say, let's call it as some constant Cn, some variable x to the power n, some constant C2, some variable x to the power n minus 1, and so on, some variable Cn x, and let it is called from C0, C1, Cn minus 1, Cn x to the 0, that means 1. So this is a polynomial and it can be factorized in terms of n factors, because then there will be n roots. So it can be x minus root I, by root I am indicating it by r, x minus r1, x minus r2, x minus r3, x minus rn. It will be having, sorry, x minus rn is 0, and there must be some constant k multiplied here. Why I am multiplying the constant k? Because I am considering the xn, the coefficient of xn is equals to c naught. It may not be equals to 1 always. So whenever you are multiplying all the x's in the factors, it will come as x to the power n. So the coefficient will be 1 here. So I am considering 1k to generalize the term. It can be 1, it cannot be 1, anything. So what are the roots? X equals to r1, r2, r3. These are the roots of this polynomial. So the numerator polynomial and the denominator polynomial can be represented like this. So I am considering numerator polynomial. Earlier I said that numerator polynomial will give you 0. So the root of the numerator polynomial will be denoted by zi, for I equals to 1 to m, because there will be m roots. So s minus z1, s minus z2, s minus z3 up to s minus zm will be numerator polynomial, and obviously a k will be multiplied here. the denominator polynomial will be same like, and then there I will denote, I said that these n points will be the poles, so I will denote it as p. So s minus p1, s minus p2 up to s minus pn, because it will be n time, there will be n different roots. This is called transfer function again, and I am not multiplying k here because I have multiplied this k. Whenever you are multiplying all these s's, there the coefficient of s to the power n will be 1, but if you can consider k to be some fraction, then the denominator of this k will come here, and there is no loss of generality if I use k only in this numerator term. So this is another representation, and this representation is called pole zero representation of transfer function. So the time is over now, otherwise I would have discussed the time constant form. I hope the concept of pole and zero, mathematical and graphical concept of pole and zero is clear for you. So the value of the function will be 0 at some points. Those points will be called as the zeros of the transfer function. The transfer function value will be infinity at some point. Those points will be called as poles of the transfer function, and poles of the transfer function is given by equating the numerator of the denominator of the transfer function, equating by the denominator of the transfer function to 0, and the zeros of the transfer function will be given by the numerator polynomial. By equating the numerator polynomial to 0, we will get the transfer function, the zeros of the transfer function. How these zeros and poles are important for us in order to analyze the control system, in order to analyze any system, that will be discussed in subsequent lectures, like in time domain analysis, frequency domain analysis. There I will discuss about these things, but here I give you the concept of this pole and zero by some mathematical interpretation, by some mathematical representation. I hope this is clear. If you have any doubt, then obviously ask me in the comment section. I will try to answer you, and also you can mail me. My mail ID will be given in the description box, and in the end of the video I will mention my mail ID also. You can contact me there if you have any doubt. Okay, thank you. Today is for this much. See you in the next lecture. Thank you.